So 3D product animation has always had one bottleneck that kills timelines, which you probably know is rendering. But I found a way to skip it almost entirely. Build your scene, lock your motion, export one frame, and let AI do what a render engine normally would. Same animation, but barely any render time. Now, this workflow genuinely caught me off guard the first time it worked, so let's jump right into After Effects or whatever 3D software you're using, and I'll show you exactly how this is done.
So inside After Effects, I have a pink solid set up as a background. I'm going to use the 3D parametric cube shape to create a ground or a plane, whatever you want to call it. I can position it down like so, scale it out so it's a little bit longer into the background. I'll rename it ground, and then I'll use this torus tool here and start to create this circular shape that, you guessed it, is going to look like a donut. I'll rotate that in 3D space as well. Then quickly just rename this layer here to donut, and then I'm just going to position it downwards so it's touching the actual ground like so, because we want to create a shadow as well to really sell that realism. Now, if you didn't know, you can bring up this secondary view here and change the angle so you have a better idea of what you're moving in 3D space. But now that's looking good, we're going to go ahead and create a new light just so we can add some contrast. I'll make it a parallel light, and then I'm going to increase the intensity to 100, and you'll see the changes are applied. Now I'm just going to adjust the position there so we get this sort of top-down 45-degree angle. And we can see that we have this nice little shadow here over to the left. And again, I'll open up my secondary view so I can further make some adjustments like so to the position of the light. Now, I think that's looking all right. So what we'll do next is bring up these Z rotation properties, and then over about 5 seconds, we'll set keyframes and have it rotate about 15 degrees, and then ramp the movement like so it kind of eases into its final resting place. Now, once we're happy with our motion there, we're going to go ahead and create a new camera, make it 35 millimeters for its focal length, and then create a new null object, call that camera control, make it 3D, and then we'll parent our 35 millimeter camera to our camera control so that everything we do on that null layer will actually affect the camera. Now we'll create our animation keyframes like so, move our final position maybe a little bit in and to the side, ramp those keyframes so we get a nice smooth motion or camera movement like so. And you'll see if we play it back, we get this nice ease into our final resting place because we ramped that speed graph. Now go ahead and render that out as an MP4 or video file so we can reference it later. And then the last thing we have to do is export the first frame of this composition. So go to Save Frame As and hit render. And now we have not only the first frame export, but the driving motion reference as well. Now quickly, let me show you this tool that's saving me a bunch of time.
I used to manually reframe interviews for shorts all the time, literally all the time. Cut, scale, reposition, then do it again when the next person starts talking. But Brevity's autocrop tracks the active speaker, reframes everything for vertical right inside Premiere. And it's still fully editable, which I like. But the time it saves, kind of crazy. And you can try it for free today for a limited time.
All right, so now that we've exported our first frame and our motion reference, we're gonna head to freepik.com and we're gonna open up Spaces. Now Spaces is just sort of like a board where you can work on a bunch of things at once. You'll see I have both of our references as well as the first frame export, and all of that leads to this final render. But how do we actually do that? So let's do it from scratch. So what I'm gonna do is find my references. I'll first drag in the first frame static reference like so, and then I'll bring in the video motion reference. We'll have them right beside each other just to stay organized, which is kind of the idea of Spaces. Now we're gonna grab this connector handle, create a new image generation node that's attached to our first frame export, and then we'll search for Google Nano Banana 2 because it's the best image generation model right now. We'll select our aspect ratio as 16:9, increase our number of generations to 3, and then normally to create the prompt, I'd input my first frame export into my favorite LLM, and then write something like act like a Nano Banana 2 prompt engineer, give me a detailed prompt to create a high-end photorealistic 3D render of this exact scene. Same framing, same composition, etc. Create a pink sprinkled donut texture. A shiny marble white countertop is the surface the donut is sitting on. Pink cotton candy clouds and sky in the background. Hit enter, and then it's going to give us this detailed prompt that we can then copy, bring back into our Freepik Spaces, and then import into this prompt box here. Re-increase our number of generations because it went away for some reason, and then hit run, and you'll see we get 3 generations that look great almost instantly. Well, not instantly, it usually takes about a minute or 2. Now, I really like the middle one, so I'm going to delete the other 2, and now we have our image that matches our first frame export. Now I'll grab that image connector again, create an image upscale node, and that's going to upscale our image from 2K to 4K. And now we'll take our driving video, which is the motion animation export right here, and we'll take this video connector, we'll create a new video generator node, make sure it's set to Kling 3.0 Omni, because that's the best for video style transfer right now. We'll make sure it's set to 5 seconds because our reference is 5 seconds, set it to 1080, and turn on sound effects if you want. And now we are going to take our first frame generation render and import that as a style reference like so by connecting the handle. And now that we have our driving video and our style reference frame both connected, we can input this prompt here that just says something like apply the movement of the video to the image, and then hit run. And in about a minute or two, we should have our, there we go. We've got our final render with our video motion, and it looks really great, and it's a lot faster than traditional methods, and we can download it like so. I like to bring it into Premiere and add maybe a film grain and then one of my own personal presets. I'll just alt-click to duplicate the layer like so, and then I'll bring up my effects. I'll search for halation light glow, apply that. It's super subtle, and I can even decrease it a little bit more to 20, but I just find that it helps sell the realism of the footage a little bit more, and it looks a little less AI generated. So if you want to grab that, it's in the description along with everything else.
So there we have it, guys, the entire workflow in a nutshell. Let me know in the comments if you actually enjoyed this workflow and think you're going to use it, or if you think it's a dumb workaround that's not even worth learning. Let me know as well. And finally, hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Peace.